Jai Sri Ram, Rishabh ji. Thanks for
Namaskar.
joining Bharat Marg. We are going to discuss about Swastika. Why the lobby is abusing the holy sign of Sanatanis. It's a it's it's considered as a holy sign, friends, by billions of people. In fact, half of the world. And why the other community, Abrahamic community, is uh, hell bent on targeting it because it's a holy sign for even Buddhist, Jain, and even considered as holies by gurus of Sikh Dharma, because they were not separate anyway, unless until the middleman of today, whatever they say. But Hindus, of course, uh, that's what we are going to discuss. Swastika, why the lobby is abusing the holy sign of Sanatanis. But before going further, friends, if you are here for the first time, please make sure to like the video, subscribe the channel, and also the notification button. Please press and stay connected, so that when we go live, you can come online, ask any questions, and participate in the conversation, right? Anyway, Rishabh ji, now you say me, what is really happening? Why the West, why the Abrahamic West is hell bent on abusing a sign
Namaste,
that is
Sundarji,
known
and
to
so
half
glad
of
to
the world, more than half of the world?
yes, so great to be here. Just a little correction before we move forward. I would not say that Abrahamic world is against swastika because not at the hands of the Nazi white supremacists and the
Come a
Nazi
little bit closer, and yeah.
at the hand of the Nazi ideology, the um, the Jews have been at the center of the one of the most severe, one of the most horrific genocide ever recorded in the history. So that fear and that symboling association with that horror, we being Hindus, we understand that the Jew brothers and sisters have gone through that kind of persecution. So I would not use the word Abrahamic here, but I would definitely use that how West actually misappropriated swastika as Nazi symbol. So these are a little bit of nuances we need to be very careful about. We need to talk about, but we need to start with how swastika has always been a sacred symbol of Hindus, all the way from the time of the oldest book in the history of the world, Rig Veda, talks about swasti, not once, twice, but many times. And ever since then, it has been part of our culture. It has been part of our auspicious symbology. And not only Hindus, like you said, look, Jains, Buddhs, and also the pagan, like what they call like to call
Sikh
pagan
gurus,
or the
Sikh gurus,
indigenous
there are incidents in their things. Yeah, absolutely.
Sikh gurus are still very recent, but I'm talking about in the ancient history, like the symbology of swastika is not only found in India, but also in Africa, in Arabia, in ancient Europe, in Australia, in the indigenous communities of the world. The even in the early Christianity, the symbology of swastika has in different names and different of course with different languages people call the symbols very different. So that's one thing we need to learn about, that this has always been a symbol of auspiciousness.
Hmm.
Another thing about it and how Nazis appropriated it or did they use it, that's another thing we need to talk about. Did Hitler appropriate swastika? Did Hitler take swastika? Did Hitler actually even use the word swastika? Did Christian church ever use the word swastika before Hitler? So these are the things we will talk about today. And it's also important to let us know we have with collaboration with AKTK, just yesterday has released this documentary, The Silence of Swastika, in English version. This documentary was released earlier in Hindi. Now we have put with the North American perspective, with the
Absolutely.
yeah, and it's very important documentary. It does a really good job in terms of explaining the origin and how this betrayal happened. It's a treat to watch. I'm sure everybody should watch it.
Yeah. So how this attack happened? Because I am sure. Okay. See, let me come to a recent attack. Okay. Let me go back and forth on it. I know that you have the history of it. Okay. And as recent as Jagmeet Singh, who is
Yep.
one of the leading politician, who is a Khalistani politician from Canada, he went on to say swastika is burned. Do you think he doesn't know swastika is different?
It was very unfortunate when I saw Jagmeet Singh Ji's tweet. I was very taken aback that first word he used in his tweet was swastika. He, of coming from the dharmic background, dharmic faith group, he definitely knows. I can't believe that he doesn't know the meaning of the swastika. But this is what I guess neo-colonization does to you. Whatever West understand things, people start using that language, and that's unfortunate truth. Hindus have started to speak up. Jews, until Jews started to speak up and actually explained and actually unearthed, the Jews scholars unearthed the link between the Vatican and Hitler. This relation was also hush hushed, and they were making connotations of all kind of crazy um, theories of how swastika traveled from India to Europe somehow. But the reality is, Haken Cruz is as Christian as you can get. You, in German language, Hakenkreuz means hooked cross, and that's not the only. I'm not an expert in German, but I know this much. If you type Christian Crews in the Google Translate, it will tell you Christian cross. If you type Ritter Cruise, it will tell you Knight's cross. If you type Balkan Cruise, it will tell you beam cross. If you type Winkel cross, it will tell you that it is angled cross. If you type Crumb Cruise, it will tell you that it's crooked cross. If you type Hacken Cruise separate, Hacken Cruise, then it will tell you hooked cross. But if you type Hacken Cruise, then it suddenly becomes swastika. How did it happen? Who decided to start calling Hacken Cruise, which is a Christian concept, which has their origins in Christianity, and or how did it happen? And before we start talking about that, elephant in the room is, who started anti-Semitism? Is anti-Semitism a Hindu concept, or you can trace it from the early Christianity? From the beginning itself, Christians have actually made Jews feel responsible for the death of the Christ. Hitler was not the first person to have
Mhm.
anti-Semitic views. He just made it too much. As we see, I'm just giving an example, very gross example for the sake of the understanding of the Hindu community who understands it. We may have heard the very atrocious speech by our junior Owaisi brother from Hyderabad. How, and we also see how Hindus in Bangladesh and Pakistan has been at the hand of the persecution. Have anybody ever um, gone ahead and told you that these hateful messaging is coming from Hindu scriptures itself? It's as it's as clear as the daylight that these things, which some extremists like to call hate for one community or another, it's like blaming the community itself.
But
Can
but
you ever
but
imagine that Jews
Rishabhji,
get, yeah.
Rishabhji, let me say something. I want to know if you agree with me. Okay, ये जो अभी स्वस्तिका का बात हो रहा है, okay, ये if you see it, it's not only the Christian community or white community that attacked. It's a slave of the whites also, who still have the slave mentality, who still subdue to the Abrahamic faith, like the Canadian politician you spoke about, right? Doesn't he know that the gurus were thinking of this holier too? Swastika different है, उसको पता नहीं था क्या?
Well, they definitely know about it,
He wants to impress his bosses, right? Jihadi bosses
but
and the
unfortunately, everybody
white
knows
base.
that we are living in a Christian supremacist nation, and the conservatism of a Christian paradigm, which is widespread and very well understood by anyone. I just feel that they felt like they didn't want to challenge that status quo, but that's taking the easy route. What would be the dharmic route? Dharmic route would be telling people that Pope was complicit. The Pope Pius XI was complicit in, if not complicit, he was well aware of the Nazi Holocaust which was going on. Or even more so, that the nuns of the recently the one Jewish woman who converted to Christianity sent letters to Pope Pius XI, and now this has unearthed that Pope actually decided to not take the cognizance of the matter, and so this
No, no.
and also they like to make this claim that Hitler was not Christian. The evidences are very indicating that he was Christian. There can be a thing that he was not more for the one sect or the another, that can be said. Maybe he was not subscribing to the Catholic ideology because he thought that Jews and Catholics both were believing in the Old Testament, and he wanted to further his ideology further. And his iconography, his pictures, his speeches were always inspired by Christianity, so much so that
And
in
the
one of his
magazine he was reading.
yeah, and in so much so that in one of his book, in one of his speech, he said that if Christ comes today, he will be the first person to join the Nazi party. He gone on to say that Christ was the first Nazi, and we should follow his thing. Even in the Britain, there is a famous cartoon. In the documentary, you will see that cartoon has been shown that British actually accepted, oh, new kind of Christianity, 100% Aryan. So just because he took the word Aryan in 1930s, a columnist from NYT decided in New York Times, always complicit in these kind of things, that, oh, this is a swastika. Somehow they started comparing it with the swastika.
And Rishabh ji, these guys say Pope is so much well aware of the thing. Yeah, he is so much highly literate on the things. Does that man doesn't know this is not swastika? क्यों
Current,
उसको वो क्यों आके नहीं बोलता है? अभी अभी इतना जो वध किए थे इन्होंने, फर्स्ट नेशन का जेनोसाइड हुआ, उसके लिए आके तो माफी मांगा ना, फोर्स होके. उनका थाली में आजकल पैसा नहीं गिरता था वेस्ट में.
so why would
चर्च
they?
होना छोड़ दे फर्स्ट नेशंस ने, इसलिए उधर उसको आके इधर माफी मांगना पड़ा. बट वो
Why, the
ये
thing is,
क्यों स्वस्तिका बोलने के लिए क्यों नहीं माफी मांगता है
why would
या
they?
एक्सप्लेन
Because
करता है?
why would they say that Hacken Cruz is as Christian as you can get? Why would they say?
एटलीस्ट दे कैन से
When there are
स्वस्तिका, इट्स नॉट
when
स्वस्तिका, राइट?
The James Philip who translated the Mein Kampf into English, he decided we don't want any mention of Christianity with this thought of the anti-Semitism. So that's why we want to dissociate with it. And how to dissociate with it? Let's call it something else. It just makes me appalled. I was watching in one of the pages, an ancient archive, not ancient, but like a little old archive of African Americans and the white people actually participating for the first times for the long runs, and all the black athletes were actually just crushing them. They were just running so fast, and they could not figure out what's happening. So they blamed the oxygen. They said that that black people somehow take up more oxygen and deprive white people for the oxygen, and that's why white people are failing. So they can go through any cuckoo theory. If they find something like which is really ancient and made up, and they can't figure out how they made
and
it, they call it it's
and
made by
our
ancients. Maybe this
absolutely.
is
And our so-called the brown slaves, who didn't get independence till now, and the guys who are still happy that and proud to say that my ancestors were polishing the shoes of the British, will go and say yes, 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 swastika
I
hai.
mean, we understand that things are incentivized in a manner that if you parrot few lines, you will get more success in the life. So that's the paradigm they have put, but it's important to understand that truth is paramount. Dharmic faiths always subscribe to, and there are 1 billion people. It's not a dead
No,
symbol.
not
This
1 billion,
this
more than.
symbol uh,
Yep.
this symbol is still alive in everyday life of the people. When people, it's not just to the rangoli in the houses, outside people's houses, people put swastikas. People put when they are starting their annaprashan sanskar, they are putting in the thali.
Hmm.
When they are doing the mundan sanskar, they are putting on the head of the person. When your person is taking the food for first time, you're putting on the jiva. When we are actually starting uh,
Education.
our education, the first symbol we are making it, it's everywhere. And it's not only us, and native people of the indigenous faith, they gave it up. In the pressure, they started to give it up. So much so, the narrative is so twisted. There is a story of a Jew student who went to India and learned about the real meaning of the swastika, and he developed this appreciation for this culture, and he bought some of the decorations which had swastika. People came and destroyed his dorm room because they thought he's Nazi. Imagine putting a Jew person, calling him a Nazi, and actually that's how dumb a North American understanding of the things are, and they just go ahead and start destroying things based on the things. So it's a very important documentary to see, and
and
also to
and
understand
and
that so that impact on Hindus of this kind of faith is not something, we always get attacked for one reason or the other. This is another. Okay, even though Hindus have been on the only people in the world historically have never persecuted any community based on their identity, based on their belief system, or based on their anything. Even more so, when no culture in the world, when the acceptance was not as fashionable as it now, at that time also, one of the only places where Jews actually found solace was in India.
yeah,
So even after
absolutely.
that,
And
calling
let me
calling
ask you a
Hindus
quick question.
Nazi is just something, it's just that they know that we are not Nazi. They want to call us Nazi because they think we deserve the treatment Nazis deserve, so that they can beat us.
Absolutely. Yeah, let me ask you a question. ये ये जो है, ये स्वस्तिका साइन है, ये होली माना जाता है मोर देन हाफ ऑफ द वर्ल्ड से, बुद्धिस्ट, जैन, मेनी ऑफ द सनातनी, ये जो फ्रिंज एलिमेंट्स है उसको छोड़ के सनातनी सिक्स, and Hindus, of course, which is one of the largest community, you know and ये सबसे ये होली माना जाता है. क्या ये जो लोग हैं, ये जो क्रिश्चियन मिशनरी हैं, ये जो वेस्ट वर्ल्ड है, ये क्या इसका गली गली में जो है, गांव गांव में, झोपट पट्टी में जो है, स्वस्तिका के बारे में इनका फीलिंग है, अपना धर्म के बारे में, इसको मिटा सकेंगे क्या?
I mean, they are trying hard to do that. At least in the West, they are successful in that mission, because if you see, we can freely do swastika iconography in India, but we are not as free to do here in the West. If somebody comes in my house at the time of Diwali, I will be fearful. If a plumber comes, maybe he will end up destroying our property. Maybe he will end up making a police complaint or something. And police people are not much of the aware. They will see, and it has happened with the students. There was in one of the university. I'm sorry, I'm forgetting the name. This is a 2020 case, and the university student leader, was talked about swastika, and that was enough to make her career vanish from that thing. There was a camp, like there a summer camp, where Hindu kids were used to be there, and they found the staff who was working there found out that there was a swastika iconography, and they actually just destroyed the property and actually refused to do that, and their kids could not go to the summer camp. So there are real life repercussions which are happening because of this wrongful association, and they don't want to stop it. And that's why we need to keep talking more. And they are not stopping in that much, that there have been the anti-hate bills, anti-hate legislations, anti-hate policies, where over and over and over they use the word swastika without any due diligence, any research done. And that's how it has
वो
been.
करना नहीं चाहते ना.
So that's why every Hindu needs to watch this documentary, send it to your legislators, to your lawmakers. And if you need any help in writing letters or anything, CoHNA is there for you. We do a swastika education and awareness campaign. You can go to kohna.org/swastika and you can download our booklet, which is very important. We have also done conferences, in a multi-faith conferences with Dr. T.K. Nakagaki, who has also written a really beautiful book about the swastika and its importance. He comes from the Buddhist faith. And we have come up with a website called understandingswastika.org, which is full with resources you can mention to your legislature, to your school principals, to your city councils, everywhere. It's our responsibility, because you will be surprised um, how ignorant these they not don't 90% of the people in any power position I talk to, they have no idea that Hindus associate or indigenous communities of the world have associated with swastika, and
Oh,
it actually Hawking Cruz is not swastika.
absolutely,
So
it's no big deal because American world basketball team is nothing but all the states they play. उनको ऐसा लगता है कि वो अमेरिका ही पूरा दुनिया है, But
yeah,
before going further, friends, I just want to let you know, in Bharat Marg we teach Sanskrit with no age bar. Parents and children can join. It's free for all to enroll, and you can do it because till you don't have Sanatan, our Sanskriti and Samaskritam, then we cannot save our Desh and Dharma for sure. And also, we also do luxury private pilgrimage trips. You can check it out. If you have any question, you can WhatsApp us to +1 6479644790. And one thing is, you can become a Bharat Marg member now by becoming you and your family can become a practicing Hindu, because we do Go Seva, Godan, Nandi Seva, Annadana, Ammavasya, many things we do, and you can become the part of it. Whatever our Dharma represents, you can become a part of it just by becoming a member of Bharat Marg. And not only that, in the whole process, you will be able to support us and our work also. And please join hands with us. But I wanted to let you know, this is my honest feeling, Rishabh is, swastika is a holy sign. It was there. I was talking to one of the mothers, and she was saying, जब वो आए थे भारत छोड़ के इधर कनाडा आए थे, she was so fearful क्योंकि उसका बेटी का नाम स्वस्तिका था.
uh,
you know ये
I have
ये
a friend whose name is Swastika, Dr.
या
Swastika.
एंड ये लोग कैसा एक्ट करेंगे, क्योंकि सी, ये जो अब्राहमिक रिलीजन में जो भी आप देखते हैं, ये एक ही सिक्का का
Dilipanji, I'm
चट्टा
sorry, I will
बट्टा है.
correct you there. Jews are also Abrahamic faith, and they have been so we need to be careful when we are talking about swastika, not associate with the
Yeah,
Abrahamic faith.
I mean the
The Nazi
Christian and
white
the
supremacy.
Islamic
Yeah,
faith,
yeah.
when they do it, that's what I mean to say. ये एक ही चिक्का का चट्टा बट्टा है, ये and you have all the other guys who have the same skin color like me, but thought of they want to impress the slave boss, like our buddy here, the who come out and abuse swastika too. We have to stand up for it and appreciate Rishabh ji and his team for doing the incredible job on this documentary. Folks, like he said, it is available on ATKT channel.
AKTK documentary.
AKTK channel. You can go and check it, because see, together we stand, divided we fall. United we stand, divided we fall. Let's fight for our rights, because we are not going to let anybody abuse our desh, dharma, our mother. Okay, it's not going to happen. And thank you for an incredible job putting
One
it
last
together.
thing I want to say before going to Lilipanji.
Yes, please.
We stand in solidarity with Jews of the world who have gone through the atrocious, one of the most horrible genocide in the recorded history.
Oh,
In the
we
name,
stand with them too, certainly, but Hindus have gone through too. Nobody considers that,
yes,
because I don't have that kind of skin color.
yes. I understand that sentiment. Our voice is not heard as well. But that symbol, that evil symbol, which was used by Hitler, was Hakenkreuz. It was not swastika. We are against Hakenkreuz. Please stop calling Nazi symbol swastika.
And
Swastika
make
is
sure.
an auspicious sign. Hakenkreuz is an evil symbol. As simple
Absolutely.
as that.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Rishabh for joining Bharat Marg. Appreciated. Friends, if you are
Thank
here
you.
for the first time, make sure to like, subscribe, and press the notification button and stay connected. Thank you again. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. And
Hare Krishna.
we'll make it